So in this lecture, basically we will be going with the introduction to a semiconductor diode, and then in the next class onwards, we will be going with the applications of diode, where these diodes are basically used. So these diodes, semiconductor diodes, are the first one of the first solid state devices in terms of like electronic devices. So initially we have seen the semiconductors, that is n-type semiconductor and a p-type semiconductor. Okay, so these semiconductors we have already seen what is its uh, composition is there, what type of charge carriers it is having in majority and minority. So in terms of n-type, electrons will be in majority, holes will be in minority in case of n-type semiconductors. Okay, similarly in case of p-type semiconductors, holes will be in majority and electrons will be in minority. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to join n-type semiconductor and a p-type semiconductor to form a structure that we can represent with. This is the structure. It is such that one region, this region we have selected as p-type, and second region we have connected as n-type. Okay, and this point is called junction. So a diode basically is a two terminal device. So this is terminal 1 and this is terminal 2. So it is two terminal device. The first terminal is connected to the p-type material, p-type semiconductor basically, and the second one is connected to the n-type layer or n-type material. Okay, so these are the two different contacts, two contact points. That is, first one is contact 1 that is connected to p-type, another one is connected to n-type, and the junction is basically where these two materials have joined with each other. Okay, these two materials have joined at the point that is called junction. So here at the junction, basically what happens uh, in p-type semiconductors, there is holes as the majority carriers, holes are the majority and electrons are the minority. In n-type we have electrons, we can just write. Okay, so electrons are in uh, majority in n-type, holes are in majority in p-type. So at the junction point, when these two type of materials are going to combine with each other at the junction, the holes are available in p-type in majority and electrons are available in majority in n-type. So at the junction, these two holes and electrons will combine with each other. Okay, so once it is having electrons are uh, having empty spaces, they will empty spaces, that means holes, that is considered to be a positively charged. So electrons will be combining with the positive charge, or we can call it like holes will be combining with the negatively charged electrons. So at the junction, once the recombination of electrons and holes will be taking place, once they are moving, suppose here an electron is there, this electron, or at the junction an electron is there, and here holes are available. So when these electron and holes are going to combine with each other, this electron will be moving. It's like electron is moving here and holes are moving here. So basically what happens, that once this electron will be moving and combining with the uh, holes, it is negatively charged. So once it is moving, it will leave behind a positive charge. So this is the junction. So once this electron is moving to combine with hole, or hole is moving from its position to combine with electron, these electron will leave behind a positive charge. Okay, so once electron will be moving, that is negative charge. Once it is moving, it will be leaving behind a positive charge. Similarly, the next electron is also moving, so it will be leaving behind a positive charge. Similarly, a hole is that is a positive charge. Once it is moving to combine with electron, it will leave behind a negative charge. Closer to the junction, we will be getting positively charged ions near the junction in n-type side, and similarly in p-type side we will be getting negatively charged ions near the junction in the p-type side. So these positive and negative charged ions are basically called immobile charge carriers. These are called immobile charge carriers. So immobile charge carriers means like the mobile charge carriers means that can move. Okay, so once a charge carrier is a mobile charge carrier, that means it will be able to move from one place to another place, so that will be constituting a current flow. But if it is immobile charge carrier, that means it will not be moving, so it will be fixed, negatively or positively charged near the junction. So as the electrons and holes are going to combine and leave behind a negatively and positively charged ions, that is immobile charge immobile charge carriers basically near the junction. So this region where the immobile charge carriers are present, or we can call it like there will be no free charge carriers. That means in this region there will be no free charge carriers, either holes or electrons available. So that means these regions are called depletion region. And all other regions, like here again holes will be there, because in p-type holes are in majority, in n-type electrons are in majority. So in the remaining uh, n-type or p-type regions, the as usual electrons and holes will be there. And along with that, here some electrons will also be there. So here some electrons will be there as minority carrier, and in case of n-type, the holes will also be there, that will be in uh, minority as a minority charge carrier. Okay, so only the charge carriers, that is holes and electrons near the junction, that will be combining and leaving behind the immobile charge carriers, that is negatively charged or positively charged. So negatively charged will be on the p side, because the holes, once it will be moving, that is holes are positive charge, it will be leaving behind the negative charge. Okay, similarly the opposite will be with the case of n-type immobile charge carriers. Okay, so once a p and n-type semiconductors are combined, are joined together, it will be forming a junction, and along with that, near that junction it will be forming a depletion region. Okay, so this depletion region is like, it is having negatively charged ions on the p side and positively charged ions on the n side. So because of this potential difference, there will be a potential difference as it is having different charge. So one type of charge is here on the one side. Suppose this is negatively charged, uh, are there on one side, and on the other side it is having positively charged. So because of the charge difference, there will be a voltage occurring between these two. So across this junction there will be a voltage. So this voltage that will develop because of this immobile charge carriers are called barrier potential. We will be calling it as the, here it will be negative and this is positive. So there will be a voltage, that is barrier potential, we will be calling it potential or barrier voltage. Or there are some other names also, like we can call it a contact potential or knee voltage. Okay, so there are other names to this. So basically it is a barrier between the it is also called the junction potential. Also it is called junction potential because it is a potential difference across the junction, that's why it is also called junction potential also. Okay, and it is called barrier potential also. Okay, so there will be a potential developed as the n-type and p-type materials are combining with each other. Okay, so that voltage will be generated at the junction of these two layers. Now we will see like how these semiconductor diodes behave when we are applying some potential to its terminals. Okay, so as this region is having no holes or electron, that means holes or electrons are basically the charge carriers. So as there is no charge carriers or carriers that can flow to constitute a current, so there is no charge carriers, that means this region is a depleted region with the charge carriers. Charge carriers are not available, that's why it's called depletion region. Okay, so now we will see different operations. So operations on a diode is basically divided into like three cases. So the first that we will be seeing is the no bias mode. No bias mode means we are just going to apply zero potential across these diodes. Okay, so here the diodes are there. Okay, so we are just going to apply a zero voltage, means there will be a no bias. No bias means whatever voltage we are applying, that will be a zero, that means there will be no applied voltage to the semiconductor diode. So it will be at these two terminals will be an open circuit, so that will be called Vd equals to 0. So there will be no biasing voltage. So as there is no biasing voltage, so here basically Vd is equals to 0. So if there is no biasing voltage, the current will also be 0. So there will be zero current flowing through this diode circuit. Okay, at this point what will be going on inside this structure is, initially it is having a depletion region. So this depletion region is having negatively charged immobile ions in the p-type side or p-type region. Okay, similarly the positively charged immobile ions on the n side or n-type side. But when there is no uh, biasing is applied, that means Vd is equals to 0, at that time some of the minority carriers of n-type region, that is holes basically, so these holes that will be closer to the junction, so some of the holes might be closer to the junction, so these holes that are closer to the junction will be attracted by the negatively charged immobile ions of the p-type region. So these ions will be attracting these holes that are of positive in nature, because these are immobile charge carriers that will not be getting inside the p-type, but these holes will be attracted by this negatively charged, and these holes will be moving to the p-type region. So that means the minority carriers of n-type region will be moving quickly to the p-type side. Similarly, the electrons that are here, like some electrons will be there also. So these electrons that are available as the minority carrier inside this p-type region will be moving to the n-type side. So this will be the case when no voltage is applied. So at that time, whatever minority carriers are available in p-type region or the n-type region, that will be going back to opposite side, and that will be going back to opposite side where it is majority carrier. So this holes will be moving to the p-type, that will be initiated by the immobile charge carriers. So because of this immobile charge carriers will be attracting the holes from the n-type region to the p-type region. Similarly, this positively charged immobile ions will be attracting electrons from that are minority in nature in p-type region, that will be attracted to the n-type region. So this will be happening inside this semiconductor diode when no voltage is applied. Okay, so that was the case, and in that case here the diode is there, that symbolic representation is there. So that this diode having p this side and n this side, so at this p type always the positive voltage is applied, and at negative side a negative voltage is applied. So inside this Vd is represented by plus here, so this is plus and this is minus. So Vd here is 0, that as we are not applying anything, and also ID current is 0. This is just symbolic representation. And here, if this is the you can say the basic terminal where the positive voltage is applied, so that's why its direction is from P to N side, from this terminal to this way, from 1 to 2 we can call just. Okay, and in that case we have already seen the current will be 0. The current will be 0. So how this current is basically 0, as in the previous case we have just seen, like the holes and electrons will be moving in the opposite direction, like whatever the minority charge carriers are, that will be moving. The majority charge carriers will not be moving. Okay, so minority charge carriers are moving. That means here the representation is just given. So here minority charge carriers, suppose in case of p type, electrons are there in as minority, and in n type holes are there in minority, and similarly the majority charge carriers are there. So this is the symbolic representation, like some electrons will be moving to p type and holes moving to this way. So the size of the arrow that we can see, the holes are moving in a larger amount from n side. That means from here the holes are moving in larger amount than this side. So similarly we are just going to equate or just combine all these current components, and overall we can get the I as 0. That means the net current will be flowing is a 0. So this amount of current that is flowing, that not only depends on uh, whatever voltage we are applying, also depends on the type of material, like what type of doping is there, how much depletion region is there, what is a voltage we have applied. So there are different factors that on which this current strength will be depending. But overall we can just have an idea, like the overall the current flowing because of the majority carriers and minority carriers will be a 0. That means overall this this current will be a 0 basically. Okay, in case of no bias case, minority carriers, basically minority carriers moves in opposite direction, or we can just symbolically write like minority carriers are there, that all, if minority carriers are available in p type, that will be moving to n type side, and minority carriers available in n type, that will be moving to the p type, and this movement will be a quick movement. That means whatever the charge carriers available as a minority carriers will be moving to its opposite side, because of quick movement is there, and this quick movement will be because of opposite immobile charge carriers, because of, you can just write, because of force of attraction by opposite immobile charge carriers, or charge or immobile ions, basically we can just write. Okay, so this minority carriers will be moving because of this force of attraction of the immobile charge carriers. And also one point we can see, like the net current will be 0. So that net current will be 0. It means there will be a movement of electron and holes inside this semiconductor, or inside this diode, but overall the net movement will be 0. That's why the current that will be flowing is equals to a 0. Okay. Okay, so the next point that we will be saying is the diodes that is biased in reverse condition. So in reverse condition, it is biased means whatever case is there, here we are just applying some potential. We are applying a external potential, or we can call like we are applying a external voltage. So that external voltage that is applied is such that the p-type side, your p-type side is p-type side is connected with the negative terminal, okay, and n-type side, this is the n-type side, this n-type side is connected to the positive terminal of the voltage, so it is applied to the positive terminal. So this is p and this is n, that is opposite, no? This is p type connected to negative side, this is of opposite nature. Similarly here say we can see n type connected to positive terminal, so n is opposite to p, that means it is of opposite nature. So if it is of opposite nature, that's why it is called reverse bias. Just to correlate, you can just set a you can say sign convention, just like, so we are having like the p type is connected to negative terminal and n type is connected to positive terminal, that's why it is called reverse bias. Okay, so this is the case of reverse bias. So here it is reverse bias means, as we are connected these to a reverse bias, whatever uh, the number of immobile charge carriers are available. So basically here in this case also some immobile charge carriers available in this p type. So as we are applying that, immobile charge carriers will be of negative nature, okay, that means negatively charged it will be there, and we are applying the negative potential to the p type. So whatever negatively charged ions are there inside this p type, that will be repelled by the negative terminal, negative potential connected to the p type. So this negatively charged immobile ions will be collecting near the junction, as it will be repelled by the applied potential. Similarly on the opposite side, in the n type region side, the positively charged immobile ions that are available in this n type region, that will be repelled back by the positive terminal, positive potential applied by the external source, that will be repelling and forcing this positively charged ions to collect near the junction. So it will be like, initially we are having this amount of charge available in the depletion region. Now as we are applying the negatively uh, or we are applying the reverse bias, the immobile charge carriers will be collecting more near the junction. So as we are applying the negatively charged or the reverse bias, these charge carriers, immobile charge carriers, will be collecting or accumulating near the junction in large amount. So as large number of immobile charge carriers collecting near junction, there will be increase in this depletion region. So here basically the depletion region is increased, okay. So at that time, if the depletion region is increased, that means the potential across this, or we can call it the barrier potential, will also increase. So if barrier potential increases, that means uh, basically this barrier potential is what, like, if it is the barrier potential, then whatever amount of electrons, suppose here electron is available in majority, so these electron to be transmitted or move to the p type will only be possible when these electrons are having sufficient energy to just overcome this barrier voltage, okay. So in the previous case also, as we have not applied any voltage, there are electrons here in the n type region, but these electrons are not able to cross this barrier, uh, basically because these electrons are not having sufficient energy to cross this barrier voltage. So there is a barrier voltage available, okay. So the electrons will only be having sufficient energy, then only it will be crossing this barrier potential, okay. But in the reverse bias case, again we are applying the reverse bias potential, so these barrier voltage have increased. So it is like now impossible for these electrons or the majority carriers to cross this barrier potential or barrier voltage, okay. So here also in p type region, whatever holes are there that are in majority, now they are not having sufficient energy to just overcome this barrier voltage and cross here. Okay, so now the current because of the majority charge carriers will be almost zero, because no majority charge are able to cross this barrier, because this barrier potential have increased as the depletion region has increased. Okay, so basically the depletion region has increased, so no majority charge carriers will be able to cross this barrier. So that's why the majority charge carrier will not be constituting any current. So the current because of majority will be almost zero. But in this case, the majority carrier is having zero current, but minority carrier will be having a current. Okay, so now as the case of in the previous case also we have seen the minority carriers were able to cross the junction. Okay, so here also the minority carriers will be able to cross the junction. Okay, even if the reverse bias we have applied. Okay, so in that case there will be a current, but that current will be because of the minority only. So minority charge carriers will be only constituting the current. So the minority charge carriers are constituting the current. The minority charge will be flowing from here to here, means that whatever holes are there, that will be minority in n will be moving to this way. So the here minority holes are moving, and from here the electrons will be moving. Okay, so from here the electrons that will be in minority will be moving to this way. So electrons are moving from p to n side, and holes are moving from n to p side. So holes are like positive charge, so positive charge are moving from n to p side. So the current direction will be in from p to positive to negative, or that means the n to p side. Okay, so this is the direction of minority charge carriers. Okay, so this will be the minority charge carrier direction. Okay, so this is the symbol. So the current direction will be given by this, from this terminal, or this from negative terminal to positive terminal, or from n to p terminal, the current direction will be there. Okay, so that is the case of reverse bias basically. Okay, so here you have already seen like the depletion region will be increased. Okay, and that increase will be due to large number of uh, immobile charge carriers that are collecting to the junction. Okay, so that means depletion region has widened. Okay, that have the width of depletion region has increased. So we can just put some point like here in reverse bias case, that means the case where drain voltage that we are applying is less than zero, but there will be a current. So the current will be because of the minority charge carriers. Okay, and the majority charge carriers current will be almost zero. Okay, so the current will be because of the minority charge carriers only. Okay, so here some points we can see. So as we are increasing the reverse bias, we have applied the reverse bias, the widening of depletion region will be taking place. So as the depletion region has widened, we can just note some points like the majority carriers cannot pass the barrier as the region has increased, or barrier has increased, we can call it. As the depletion region increases, the barrier potential will increase. So here the majority carriers cannot pass the barrier, or we can call say junction. Okay, but the majority carriers cannot pass, but minority carriers can pass the barrier. The current will be because of the minority. So minority current will not be equals to zero, but majority carrier current will be almost zero. Okay, and one more point is that we can just notice that in the reverse bias current or in the reverse bias condition, whatever the minority carriers current will be flowing, that will be called as a reverse saturation current, and it is called represented by IS. So if only the reverse current is flowing, that will be considered as the reverse saturation current. Okay, so these reverse saturation currents are basically represented in either microampere or in nanoamperes. Okay, and why it is called saturation current? So reverse saturation current we are calling. So it is called a saturation current. You can just note like why it is called a saturation current. So it is called saturation current because it reaches the maximum level of current very quickly, and it does not change. Uh, it does not change basically even after we have applied the reverse bias voltage. So this is called reverse saturation, means even if we are applying this VD, so after a certain amount of this VD potential, the reverse current that is flowing will become a constant. Okay, so that constant value of reverse current that will not be able to increase even if we are applying the higher reverse bias voltage, that the minority carrier current is considered as a saturated current, or the current, now the reverse current is not going to increase. That means it has reached to its maximum. So that means it is reached to a level that is called a saturated level. It has just saturated. So that's why it is called a saturation current, reverse saturation current. So it is called reverse saturation current means because it has reached to a maximum level. So even if we are applying the reverse bias voltage, it will not be going to increase or decrease. Okay, so that's why it is called reverse saturation current. Also, one point we can note here is like in case of no bias condition, we have seen the minority carrier current was there in case of the no bias case also. So in no bias case, there was the minority carrier flow was there, and also there were majority carriers. So in that case also, there was a chance like the majority charge carriers can cross also in no bias condition. But whatever amount of minority charge carriers are available in no bias condition, the same amount of magnitude of reverse bias current is available in case of reverse bias case also. So here, in case here, whatever the current, because of the minority was there in no bias case, will have the same magnitude of current, that is the minority carrier current will have the same magnitude of the minority carrier current in case of reverse bias. That means whatever reverse bias current was flowing when there was no bias voltage is applied, the same amount of reverse bias current will be flowing even if we have applied the uh, reverse bias, because there are very limited amount of minority charge carriers are available. That means the minority charge carriers are very less in quantity. That's why whatever quantity is moving in case of reverse bias case, the same amount of reverse bias charge carriers are moving in the no bias case also. That's why the current is almost considered to be a similar. Okay, so the next point we will see is the forward bias case. So here, in case of forward bias case, what we are going to do is whatever external applied voltage is there, we are applying the external bias voltage such that the p type region, this p type region will be connected to the positive potential. or positive potential or positive terminal. Okay, the next one is like the N type region is going to connect with the negative potential or terminal. Okay, so here we can just see it is positive and this is negative. So this N and N are same. So here P and P are same. That's why that means it is connected in same direction, or that means positive, or P type is connected to positive terminal, N type is connected to negative terminal. That's why it is called forward bias. That's why it will be a forward, okay, case. So basically here in case of forward bias, once we are going to connect this positive terminal to P type, so this will be a positive terminal. So this positive terminal will be attracting the negatively charged ions available in this P type region. So that means it will be attracting the positive immobile charge carriers also. Okay, so this applied force, applied potential, that will be exerting a force to attract these opposite immobile charge carriers. So here positive will be attracting the negatively charged immobile charge carriers, and similarly here a negative terminal is connected to N type. So in N type, positively charged immobile ions are there. So immobile ions will be attracted towards this uh, terminal, negative terminal. So as the immobile charge carriers are attracted, now in this case the depletion region is going to reduce as the reduction of immobile charge carriers near this junction is going to happen as we have applied the forward voltage. Okay, and also in that case here we have applied the positive terminal, and here holes are there in P type region. So holes are there in majority. So these holes will be repelled back so that it will be crossing the junction. Initially they are unable to cross the junction because they are unable to overcome this barrier voltage. Now we have applied the positive uh, forward bias, we have applied the forward bias. So this forward bias will be forcing these holes that are in majority in P type region, that to cross, it will be getting such amount of energy to cross this barrier voltage. Now it will be able to overcome this barrier voltage. Similarly in the N type region, the electrons will be getting sufficient energy, sufficient repulsion from this negative terminal connected to this N type region, so that it will be overcoming the this barrier voltage, and now electrons will be easily moving across the barriers, and similarly the holes will be moving across the barrier. Okay, so now the most of the current that is flowing between, or most of the charge carriers that will be moving, will be the majority carriers. So majority carriers will be able to freely move across the junction. So whatever the current that will be finally we are getting, that will be constituting the minority carrier as well as the majority carriers. Okay, so but majority carrier will be having higher amount than the uh, minority carrier current. Okay, so in that case also, whatever the minority carriers are available, the same amount of minority carrier current will be there, because of the limited number of minority carriers. So there are very less amount of minority carriers are there. So this minority carrier current will be very less, and that current will be similar to the reverse bias case and similar to the no bias case. That means the minority carriers basically will be a saturation current. The reverse saturation current that we have obtained in the reverse bias case, the similar current will be flowing in the forward bias case also by the minority carriers. Okay, so overall the final current will be majority carrier, that will be of higher value in magnitude. So that's this minus is, that is the reverse saturation current that is flowing in opposite direction. That's why it will be I majority minus is. Okay, so in that case the current will be flowing in from P to N side. This is P to N side. Okay, so this was the case in forward bias case. We are just going to notice here minority carrier flow magnitude does not change. That means the minority carriers will be equals to the reverse saturation current. That was the case in reverse bias. So in reverse bias case, whatever minority carrier current were there, the similar minority carrier current will be there in case of the forward bias also. But here basically the depletion is going to reduce. So reduced depletion will be there. Reduced depletion region is there. So as it is the having the reduced depletion region, heavy amount of majority carriers will flow across the junction. Okay, so across the junction, the most of the majority carriers will be flowing. So I majority will be very greater than the I minority. Okay, and the current that is flowing in that case is basically given by equation called Shockley equation. So the current flowing in diodes is in case of forward bias is basically given by the Shockley equation, that is given by ID equals to ISS into e to the power Vd divided by n Vt minus 1. So this is the case of current flow. Okay, and this current flow is given in all the cases. Okay, so if it is reverse bias case, if it is reverse bias case, we are applying a Vd that is of negative nature. So if it is Vd that is of negative nature, we can replace that term. Okay, so this term can be replaced by, like, it has become a negative value, that means it will be very less. So it will be such that it is going to be very less, so we can just neglect in case of reverse bias. So as Vd is less than 0, so if we put the Vd less than 0, this term will be almost 0, so we can just neglect. In that case, Id in reverse bias case will be nothing but the I, the minority carrier. In case of forward bias, this forward bias will be such that the current that will be flowing is e to the power Vd. So Vd is some positive value. So Vd is exponentially very high value than the 1. So Id in this case we can just write is Is into e to the power Vd divided by n Vt. Okay, so this is the case in case of forward bias. If we say no bias is there, at that time Vd equals to 0. So once we will be putting Vd equals to 0, this will be 1. So 1 minus 1 is equals to 0. So Id will be equals to 0. So these are the different currents that will be flowing here. And the term Vt is the thermal voltage we have already discussed, and that will be equals to T divided by. So that was all about the basic of diodes. We will see some points later into the next class. Okay.